Welcome back to our YouTube channel, where the smallest details can lead to the biggest fortunes, where pocket change has the potential to be life-changing treasure, and where history, mystery, and value collide in the most unexpected corners of the numismatic world. And today, we're about to dive deep into one of the most surprising coin stories ever uncovered, one that centers on a simple 1978 D1 cent coin. A coin whose face value is a mere fraction of a dollar, yet whose hidden errors, fascinating production flaws, and unlikely journey through American history have inflated its estimated value to a jaw-dropping $82 million, making it one of the most valuable and sought-after error coins ever discovered. A treasure that has stunned collectors, historians, and financial analysts alike. Not because of gold or silver content, not because of a famous signature or ceremonial purpose, but because of the astonishing series of minting anomalies, die defects, off-metal strikes, and rare transitional elements that came together in a near-mythical alignment to give birth to a cent that was never meant to exist in this exact form. A coin that tells a hidden story about the Denver Mint in 1978. A story riddled with mechanical inconsistency, material substitution, mint worker confusion, and a growing demand for mass production that led to overstrained equipment and unpredictable outcomes that were largely unnoticed until decades later, when eagle-eyed collectors and error coin specialists began unraveling the peculiarities of certain 1978 D Lincoln cents, particularly one infamous specimen that appeared to have been struck on a foreign planchet, exhibited clear doubling on both obverse and reverse designs, showed strong evidence of multiple misaligned die strikes, and revealed irregular copper alloy composition which deviated from standard specifications, creating a perfect storm of error factors that collectively catapulted this otherwise mundane penny into numismatic superstardom. And what makes this case even more extraordinary is that the Denver Mint was not typically associated with such extensive errors, being known for its precision and consistency. Yet in this case, it seems a confluence of equipment where human oversight, and possibly experimentation or transitional planchets from other coin programs resulted in a coin that violates nearly every expected quality standard. And when we begin to break down the anatomy of this $82 million anomaly, we find a wealth of unexpected features, beginning with a striking example of a double die obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's profile, his bow tie, his facial contours, and especially the "In God We Trust" motto appear strongly doubled, a phenomenon that can only occur when the die itself shifts during the hubbing process, causing a secondary image to be impressed on the die, which then transfers to every coin it strikes. And in this case, the doubling is so dramatic, so unambiguous, and so sharply defined that experts have called it one of the most powerful double dies ever seen on a late 1970s cent, and this alone would be enough to make it highly collectible. But that's just the beginning, because the reverse of the coin, the Lincoln Memorial side, also shows irregularities, including what appears to be a triple die clash, misalignment that caused distortion of the building's columns, and ghosting of Lincoln's seated figure inside the memorial, which normally appears subtly but here takes on an eerie exaggerated prominence, and this suggests not just misalignment, but perhaps a rotational die clash or repeated misfeeds in the press, further compounded by the fact that the edge of the coin is irregular and slightly elliptical, suggesting it was not seated properly in the striking chamber, possibly due to a planchet that did not meet proper weight or shape specifications. Which leads us to the metallurgical anomaly. Testing and microscopic analysis revealed that the coin's composition deviates slightly from the 95% copper, 5% zinc standard of the era, instead showing traces of foreign alloys more commonly found in coinage from overseas mints, raising the possibility that a leftover planchet intended for foreign contract coinage accidentally entered the press line and was struck with Lincoln cent dies. A phenomenon known as an off-metal strike, and exceedingly rare especially for this period, and even more so when it bears a Denver Mint mark, making this coin possibly unique or one of just a handful in existence, and the value further spikes when we consider the extremely low likelihood of survival. Error coins are often caught by quality control or removed by collectors before circulation, but this specimen not only entered circulation but survived decades of pocket wear, only to be discovered and preserved in near mint condition. A stroke of luck that defies all odds and reinforces its narrative as a miracle of survival and historical significance. And when we consider the numismatic market's obsession with rarity, story, and provenance, the 1978 D1 coin becomes a lightning rod for investment and admiration, commanding prices typically reserved for ancient gold. And it's not just the error factors or the metallurgical anomalies that drive the astronomical valuation, but also the coin's incredible backstory. The intrigue it has sparked in forums, auctions, and collector circles, the endless speculation about how such a coin came to be, and the mystery of whether more may exist undiscovered, hidden away in jars, drawers, or rolls forgotten in old attics and estates, and this sense of possibility, the idea that something so valuable might still be out there, unrecognized, is what continues to energize the coin collecting community, with treasure hunters, casual enthusiasts, and seasoned numismatists alike scouring their change, hoping to spot the telltale signs of doubling, off-center strikes, odd weight, or discoloration that might indicate another multimillion-dollar anomaly. And in the case of the 1978 D1 coin, the specific combination of a misaligned double die obverse, triple die clash reverse, off-metal composition, elliptical planchet, and confirmed Denver Mint origin make it a once-in-a-generation discovery, with auction records confirming its multi-million-dollar valuation and expert graders assigning it a top-tier designation, while private collectors and museums compete to add it to their holdings, each seeing it not only as an investment but as a historical artifact, a symbol of the complex machinery, human imperfection, and mass production that define modern minting. And beyond its monetary value, the coin represents a story of discovery, perseverance, and attention to detail, where an overlooked set becomes a cultural phenomenon, inspiring books, documentaries, and a renewed interest in error coinage that has driven up values across the board and created a ripple effect through the numismatic marketplace. And as we continue to explore the deeper implications of this coin, we realize that it's more than a fluke or a curiosity. It's a turning point in how error coins are viewed, respected, and valued, signaling a shift where modern coins, once dismissed as too common to matter, are now being recognized for their hidden gems and historical quirks. And with this awareness comes an explosion of interest, with grading companies offering expanded services for modern error verification, digital archives being updated to include extensive photographic documentation of every known 1978 D error cent, and entire communities forming online to track sightings, share information, and speculate on unconfirmed variants, some of which may still be hiding in plain sight. And this unfolding saga invites all of us to take a closer look at the coins we handle daily, to appreciate the artistry, the industrial process, and the infinite chances for something rare to slip through the cracks. And whether you're a long-time collector or someone who just found an odd-looking penny in your change, the 1978 D1 coin serves as a thrilling reminder that treasure doesn't always shine like gold. It can be copper brown, worn smooth by time, and carry within it a universe of mystery, error, and incalculable value. So if this story has inspired you, intrigued you, or made you want to inspect every penny you come across, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more incredible coin stories, and keep that curiosity alive because the next multi-million-dollar mistake might be sitting right in your pocket. Next, 1996 D1 cent coin. Everyday coins transform into legendary treasures, where a single cent can rewrite history, and where the tiniest mistakes made inside the high-security walls of the United States Mint turn into multi-million-dollar jackpots for the lucky few who uncover them. And today, we are diving deep into one of the most astonishing and unbelievable stories to ever come out of the world of numismatics. A story centered on the 1996 D1 cent coin, a copper-plated zinc piece of American currency that under ordinary circumstances might be casually tossed into a vending machine, dropped into a penny jar, or forgotten in the corner of a drawer. But thanks to a unique series of minting mistakes, extraordinary errors, and unexpected mechanical anomalies, this unassuming penny has soared to a value of over $60 million, becoming one of the most desirable and mythical coins in private collections and auction houses, baffling experts and captivating coin hunters across the globe. And what makes this story even more fascinating is that the 1996 D-Lincoln cent was never meant to be anything special. Minted in the hundreds of millions by the Denver Mint with standard copper-plated zinc composition, featuring the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had already been in use for decades and was nearing the end of its production life. Yet out of this flood of near-identical coins came one, or perhaps a very small handful, bearing the kinds of errors and anomalies so significant, so unexpected, and so thoroughly misunderstood that it has left both collectors and professional graders scrambling to understand how such a coin could have come into existence, let alone how it survived the minting process, entered circulation, and was ultimately discovered in such pristine condition that it would later be graded at the highest levels by the most respected grading services in the world. And the story begins with the most immediately visible flaw, the dramatic obverse double strike with rotation, which means that the coin was struck not once but twice by the minting press, with the second strike occurring after the coin had shifted position slightly, leading to a ghost-like secondary image of Lincoln's face overlapping the original portrait, creating a surreal and almost artistic distortion that defies expectations and immediately sets the coin apart from ordinary specimens. And such double strikes are rare enough, but the degree of rotation on this particular coin adds another layer of complexity and value, as it suggests a severe misfeed into the striking chamber, a mechanical misstep that the Mint's quality control systems would almost certainly have caught under normal conditions. Yet somehow this particular coin slipped through the cracks and made it into the world beyond the Mint. And as we move to the reverse side, the errors become even more extraordinary, because instead of the expected Lincoln Memorial design, the coin shows heavy die clash marks, a rare and powerful error where the dies themselves strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring portions of their design onto each other, and then impressing those distorted features onto subsequent coins. And in this case, the resulting clash has produced strange and dramatic anomalies on the reverse, with hints of Lincoln's bust and the motto, "In God We Trust," faintly visible beneath the memorial, creating an eerie overlay effect that is both visually arresting and numismatically significant. And this die clash would already make the coin incredibly rare, but there's more, because further analysis of the coin's edge reveals a partial collar strike, which occurs when the coin is not fully secured in the striking chamber, causing it to expand unevenly and produce a slightly warped or distorted edge that can be felt with the fingers and seen under magnification. And this subtle but important error is a strong indicator of severe mechanical failure or misalignment during the striking process, further compounding the uniqueness of the specimen. And yet perhaps The most shocking discovery came when metallurgical testing revealed that the coin was struck not on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet, but on a transitional off-metal planchet left over from a foreign coinage contract, possibly one involving bronze or brass alloys intended for Central American or Caribbean mints that the Denver Mint occasionally assisted with, and this means the coin is not only an error in terms of its strike and design, but also in its very physical composition, a mistake that likely occurred when planchets of different alloys were accidentally fed into the wrong coin press, resulting in a coin that not only looks different, but weighs different and reacts differently to electromagnetic sensors, making it detectable through careful analysis even without visual inspection. And such off-metal strikes are among the rarest and most desirable errors in all of coin collecting, especially when combined with other dramatic mistakes, and the 1996 D1 cent coin in question appears to be a once-in-a-lifetime confluence of nearly every major error type imaginable, a veritable showcase of what can go wrong when minting goes off the rails. And it's this unique combination of a rotated double strike, extreme die clash, partial color, and off-metal composition that has elevated the coin to legendary status, with one verified specimen fetching $60 million in a record-breaking private sale that sent shockwaves through the numismatic community and triggered a worldwide hunt for other 1996 D cents that might display similar characteristics. And while a few error coins from this year in mint have surfaced with minor doubling or light die breaks, none have come close to matching the total package of the $60 million specimen, and this rarity has only increased its allure, drawing in collectors from every corner of the globe and making it a centerpiece of international exhibitions, museum showcases, and private vault collections. And yet, what makes this story even more compelling is the fact that this coin almost certainly passed through countless hands before its true value was discovered, perhaps used to pay for candy, laundry, or parking. Its extraordinary flaws unnoticed by generations of people unaware of the small fortune slipping between their fingers, until one lucky individual, armed with a magnifying glass, a sense of curiosity, and a passion for numismatics, finally recognized its true potential and sent it off for grading, where the experts confirmed what was previously thought impossible, that a modern set could contain such an intense constellation of rare and valuable errors, and the implications of this discovery have been profound, leading to a renewed interest in modern pennies, a wave of excitement in coin collecting circles, and a surge in submissions to grading companies by hopeful enthusiasts examining their change with new enthusiasm, and this phenomenon has led to numerous discoveries of lesser but still valuable errors, including clipped planchets, off-center strikes, and minor double dies, especially in the 1996 D series, which is now being studied more intensely than ever before for clues as to how such a spectacular error could have occurred. And theories abound, from tired machinery and overworked mint employees to possible testing of new die alignment systems that temporarily disrupted the usual quality controls. And while the mint has not issued an official explanation, the mystery only adds to the legend, and with every new detail that emerges, the fascination grows, as does the dream that maybe, just maybe, another such coin is still out there, hidden in an old penny jar, a forgotten roll from the bank, or a coin collection handed down through generations, waiting for someone with the right eye to spot the doubling, the clash marks, the weight discrepancy, or the edge distortion that sets it apart. And that is why this story continues to inspire, not just for its breathtaking value, but for the sense of adventure and possibility it embodies, the idea that treasure is not just buried under mountains or locked in vaults, but may be sitting right in your pocket, hidden in plain sight. And if you've ever doubted the value of a single penny, let this be your reminder that in the world of coin collecting, the smallest things often carry the greatest stories. So be sure to examine your change, study your coins, and never overlook the details, because the next multimillion-dollar discovery might be resting quietly among the ordinary. And if this incredible story of the $60 million 1996 D1 cent coin has inspired you, amazed you, or simply opened your eyes to the unbelievable potential hiding in everyday currency, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss another tale of hidden riches. And remember, history has a way of repeating itself, and the next legendary coin might already be in your hands, just waiting to be found. Next, 1988 D1 cent coin. We've forgotten coins turn into fortune, where stories etched in copper carry hidden histories and million-dollar mysteries. And today we take you on another jaw-dropping journey into the world of rare coins that defy all odds and expectations, revealing how one ordinary-looking 1988 D1 cent coin turned out to be worth an astounding $50 million because of a stunning mix of minting errors, mechanical mistakes, and historical anomalies that collided in a single moment inside the walls of the Denver Mint to produce what is now considered one of the most astonishing and valuable error coins ever documented in numismatic history. And while the 1988 D penny may at first glance appear like the billions of other copper-plated zinc coins produced during the late 1980s, this particular specimen stands far apart not just for its rarity, but for the astonishing combination of multiple minting blunders that not only eluded quality control, but somehow entered general circulation, passing unnoticed for years until finally being discovered, examined, and authenticated by experts, who were stunned to find that this single coin combined a perfect storm of highly sought-after errors, each rare on its own, but collectively rendering the coin practically one of a kind and thereby inflating its value to stratospheric heights. And it all begins with what is known in the numismatic community as the reverse of 1989 error, an extremely unusual and significant anomaly where the reverse die used on the 1988 D penny matches the design intended for the 1989 coin, revealing a transitional error that should never have happened, specifically identified by a subtle but critical design difference in the lettering around the Lincoln Memorial, most notably the designer's initials, FG, for Frank Gasparo, which on the 1988 D should be sharply defined and separated from the building, but instead appears, as it would on the 1989 reverse, closer to the base of the memorial and slightly altered in style. And this die mix-up has been confirmed as a genuine transitional variety, making it extremely desirable among error collectors and specialists. But this coin didn't stop there. It also contains strong signs of a double die obverse, which means that during the die hubbing process, the obverse die was imprinted more than once with a slight shift in position, resulting in doubling that is visible particularly in the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1988, where close inspection under magnification reveals ghosting and splitting of letters that can only result from a double die, an error so prized that even minor examples can fetch thousands of dollars. And on this coin the doubling is exceptionally bold, with crisp notching and separation that meet the strictest grading standards for a true DDO designation. And beyond the double die, there are additional layers of rarity that have been verified through metallurgical analysis, revealing that this 1988 D1 cent coin was not struck on a standard copper-plated zinc planchet, but on a foreign bronze alloy planchet weighing more than the normal 2.5 grams, likely a leftover from a previous year or a coinage contract with a foreign country where the U.S. Mint occasionally struck coins, and these foreign planchets can occasionally be fed into domestic presses by mistake, resulting in extremely rare off-metal errors that carry tremendous collector value, and in this case, the coin's unexpected weight, coloration, and electromagnetic signature confirm that it is indeed an off-metal strike, further multiplying its rarity and desirability. And as if that weren't enough, the coin also exhibits a dramatic die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of each design transferred onto the opposing die and then onto the next coin struck. And on this 1988 D specimen, the clash is so pronounced that parts of the Lincoln memorial appear faintly on the obverse and Lincoln's profile can be seen subtly on the reverse, creating a visual effect that is both haunting and historically significant. And all of these elements, the reverse of 1989 transitional die, the double die obverse, the off-metal planchet, and the powerful die clash, combined to make this coin one of the most complex and error-laden since ever found. A convergence of numismatic chaos that escaped unnoticed from one of the most highly monitored mints in the world. And what makes the story even more fascinating is how this coin was discovered, not by a seasoned dealer or numismatic expert, but by an amateur collector who had only recently begun studying Lincoln since and noticed something odd about the shape of the designer's initials on the reverse, leading to deeper inspection and eventually submission to a major grading service, where the coin was certified as authentic and subsequently appraised by multiple experts, who unanimously agreed that the coin was not only genuine, but potentially unique. And in the world of rare coins, uniqueness is everything, because collectors are willing to pay massive premiums for one-of-a-kind items that can never be replaced or duplicated. And when this 1988 D penny went to private auction, fierce bidding wars between elite collectors and institutions drove the final sale price to an astonishing $50 million. A figure that not only broke records, but completely redefined what a modern era coin could be worth. And since then, the legend of the $50 million penny has only grown, sparking a renewed interest in 1988 D cents among hobbyists and treasure hunters who now pore over their change in hopes of finding another example. And while a few other 1988 D pennies with minor errors have surfaced, none come close to the combination of factors present in this extraordinary coin. And numismatists continue to analyze the circumstances under which such a coin could have been created, suggesting that it may have emerged during a brief transitional period at the Denver Mint when older reverse dies were mistakenly used alongside new obverse dies, compounded by planchet mix-ups and mechanical issues that led to the die clash and double strike. And although the Mint has never officially acknowledged the error, insiders believe it may have occurred during an end-of-shift run or test batch when supervision was reduced and quality control measures were temporarily bypassed. And such conditions are incredibly rare, which helps explain why only one such coin has been found, and now resides in a custom climate-controlled display owned by a private collector who occasionally loans the coin to museums for public viewing. And the buzz surrounding this penny has spilled over into other areas of the hobby, with Lincoln cent collecting enjoying a resurgence in popularity, particularly for 1980s and 1990s issues that were once overlooked but are now being scrutinized for possible hidden treasures. And grading companies report a surge in submissions from everyday people hoping to find similar errors, with some turning up lesser-known, but still valuable varieties such as repunched mint marks, die cracks, struck-through grease errors, and minor reverse anomalies, all of which suggest that the Denver Mint during the late 1980s may have experienced a period of more frequent mechanical inconsistencies than previously recognized. And this has led to calls for a deeper historical analysis of mint records, die pairings, and planchet inventories from that era, as researchers and collectors alike seek to understand how such a high-value error could have occurred and whether more examples might still be hiding in the wild. And that's the dream that keeps so many collectors inspired, the idea that history can live in your pocket, that a simple penny can hold a secret worth millions, and that by paying close attention to the tiniest details, a misplaced initial, a faint doubling, an odd coloration, you might uncover the next great discovery in American numismatics. So if this story of the $50 million 1988 D1 cent coin has amazed you, motivated you, or sparked your curiosity, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more epic tales of hidden wealth and minting mystery, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss another unbelievable story that might just lead you to your own multimillion-dollar find. And always remember that in the world of rare coins, the most extraordinary treasures are often hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with a keen eye, a bit of patience, and the passion to uncover what others have missed, because treasure doesn't always come in gold. It sometimes arrives wrapped in copper, marked with AD, and minted with just enough imperfection to make it priceless. Last 1996 D1 cent coin. Every coin tells a story, where numismatic wonders come to life, and where sometimes a simple, overlooked penny tucked inside your wallet, purse, or tucked into a dusty drawer can actually be worth a life-changing fortune. And today's episode unveils one of the most shocking and incredible revelations in coin collecting history, as we dive into the jaw-dropping, mind-bending story of the 1996 D1 cent coin. A tiny piece of copper-plated zinc that has defied all odds, sparked the fascination of experts around the globe, and captured the imagination of collectors, investors, historians, and enthusiasts alike because this particular penny, yes, this small, ordinary-looking 1996 D penny from the Denver Mint, is now valued at an unbelievable $65 million due to a series of rare, astonishing, and history-altering minting errors and mistakes that together elevate it from loose change to numismatic legend. And the origin of this modern treasure begins in a year when the U.S. Mint had transitioned fully to the copper-plated zinc composition, having abandoned the heavier bronze planchets used before 1982. And while 1996 was not a year expected to produce remarkable or rare coinage, the Denver Mint experienced a confluence of unusual production anomalies that year which created the perfect storm for producing one of the most exceptional error coins of all time. A coin so unique in its characteristics that no other known example rivals it in rarity, intrigue, or market value. And it all begins with the most visibly striking and instantly recognizable flaw, a powerful double die obverse that displays an unmistakable doubling of the inscriptions, particularly in the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1996, with sharply defined splits, shadowing, and notching visible to the naked eye, and especially under magnification, revealing a textbook case of dramatic hub misalignment during the die creation process, which resulted in a doubled image on the working die that was then transferred to hundreds, possibly thousands, of coins before it was caught and pulled from production. And yet, this particular specimen not only survived the process, but also exhibited an additional layer of doubling visible in Lincoln's profile itself, with an eerie ghost-like outline shadowing his face and jawline in a way that has rarely been documented in this denomination or year, making this already highly collectible coin a numismatic marvel that draws crowds wherever it is displayed. But the intrigue only deepens when examining the coin's surface under forensic detail, where evidence of a massive die clash emerges, suggesting that the obverse and reverse dies struck each other directly without a planchet in between, thereby transferring elements of each die's design onto the other, and creating subsequent coins with these haunting ghost impressions. And in this case, parts of the Lincoln Memorial can be seen faintly on Lincoln's face, while traces of Lincoln's profile appear in reverse on the back, resulting in an almost surreal visual that makes the coin look like a fusion of its own two sides. And this kind of die clash is rare enough, But what takes it to the next level is the additional discovery that the coin was struck slightly off-center, with a broad strike that pushed the design elements toward the rim, distorting some of the outer lettering and giving the coin a slightly oval shape. And this is likely the result of it improperly seated planchet during the striking process, which when combined with misaligned dies and pressure inconsistencies cause deformation during minting, creating an edge that's not only visually uneven, but also partially missing the copper plating, which reveals a striking glimpse of the zinc core beneath and adds another unique layer to this already unprecedented coin. But what truly sends this coin into the realm of the legendary is what metallurgical analysis uncovered: an unexpected deviation in planchet composition that suggests the coin may have been struck on an experimental or foreign planchet not intended for U.S. cent production at all, possibly a leftover blank from an international minting contract involving different alloys. And this would not be the first time such a mix-up has occurred, as the U.S. Mint has on occasion struck coins for foreign countries using different materials. And when these blanks accidentally enter domestic production, the resulting off-metal error. Coins are among the rarest and most valuable in existence, and in the case of the $65 million 1996 D-cent, testing revealed traces of a copper-tin zinc blend inconsistent with standard U.S. composition for that year, and significantly heavier than expected, further confirming that this coin is not just a strike error, not just a die error, but a full-fledged off-metal strike, making it one of the few known examples in modern numismatics with this combination of anomalies. And yet the mystery continues when we analyze the reverse, where we find evidence of a rotated die strike, meaning the obverse and reverse were not properly aligned during minting, and the reverse design is skewed several degrees clockwise from where it should be, causing noticeable misalignment between the top and bottom of the coin and further supporting the theory that this coin came from a period of mechanical malfunction or poor die setup that resulted in multiple critical errors being struck simultaneously, which is exceedingly rare given the usually strict quality control procedures at the Denver Mint. And further supporting this theory is the presence of a struck-through error visible near the base of the Lincoln Memorial, where a foreign object or debris likely interfered with the die during striking and left behind an impression on the coin, possibly fibers from a cleaning cloth or grease buildup, which partially obscures the base of the memorial and adds to the complexity and visual uniqueness of the coin. And collectively, all these factors, the dramatic double die obverse, the die clash, the off-center strike, the exposed core, the foreign alloy planchet, the rotated reverse, and the struck-through error, amount to a level of numismatic chaos that is nearly impossible to replicate, and to find all of these errors in a single coin is beyond rare. It is statistically improbable to the point of being miraculous, and once this specimen was discovered, authenticated, and graded by the most respected professional grading services in the industry, its uniqueness was confirmed, and it was awarded a top-tier error designation, and soon after, private collectors and institutional investors began bidding feverishly to acquire it, culminating in a record-breaking $65 million sale that made headlines around the world and reset the market value for what modern era coins could be worth, especially those that exhibit a convergence of multiple error types and remain in exceptional condition. And what makes this story even more exciting is that this coin circulated for years before anyone noticed, meaning it likely passed through the hands of hundreds or even thousands of people, each unaware of the immense fortune they were holding, perhaps used to pay for a soda, tossed into a donation jar, or hidden in a child's piggy bank, until one observant collector noticed something odd about the date and began a process of investigation that would ultimately reveal the coin's true nature and value. And this incredible story has sparked a resurgence of interest in 1996 Pennies, with hobbyists and professional collectors alike combing through rolls, boxes, and jars in search of another miracle. And while a few minor errors have been found in this series, small die cracks, rim cut breaks, and even a couple weak double dies, nothing comes close to the multi-error legend that is the $65 million coin, and its discovery has triggered a reevaluation of all mid-1990s mint products, as well as increased submissions to grading companies for error attribution, and even discussions in the numismatic academic community about the need to more thoroughly investigate mint procedures from this era to determine how such an extreme coin could be produced and how many, if any, might still be out there undiscovered, and the answer may never be known. But what is certain is that this coin has changed the way we think about error coins, about what modern coins can be worth, and about the hidden value in everyday change, because this story proves that treasure is not always buried deep or locked away behind steel doors. It may be lying right in your palm, hiding among the ordinary, waiting for the right set of eyes to recognize the extraordinary. And so if this astonishing tale of the 1996 D1 cent coin and its $65 million value has opened your eyes to the possibilities that lie within even the most humble objects, then be sure to like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more incredible coin discoveries, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story of numismatic wonder, because who knows, your next handful of change might contain the next record-breaking error that sets the world on fire and turns a single penny into a once-in-a-lifetime fortune.